the dividing line between Serb and Muslim Sarajevo in Bosnia-Herzegovina, a devastated, mined, urban landscape. The ethnic rift is just starting to heal along this former front line. Serbian boys like Tihomir Ostojic call out across the barbed wire to their Muslim friends on the other side, urging them to come and play. Dobrinja, near Sarajevo airport, was a bitterly contested area during the war, and like most front lines of warfare, it is heavily contaminated by mines. Scattered among houses and fields, they threaten daily survival. The residents of Dobrinja are literally walking on a minefield. 15-year-old Tihomir discovered the brutal legacy of war when he stepped on one mine and was thrown by the blast onto another.
Bilo je to 17. juna prošle godine. Vraćali smo se s kupanja. Krenuli smo na ove ovdje gore trešnje. Tada sam ranjen bio. Izgubio sam tu oba dvije šake. Tada, to je bilo 17. juna prošle godine. Tu sam izgubio oba dvije šake. 2 prsta na desne noge, bio sam tada slomio nogu. Tada je bilo kad smo se vraćali s kupanja. Tu smo bili došli da beremo trešnje. I nisam znao da ima tu mina iznad gornje te.
These people know the land is mined, but they need to plant crops to survive. Out of necessity, they make themselves believe a landmine accident can't happen to them. But scenes of grief like this are all too common on the heavily mined former front lines. The Petrikova's 13-year-old son Elvis was killed by a landmine blast just 12 hours earlier. His father says Elvis went with some friends to a warehouse to find scrap aluminium to sell. He wanted to buy an ice cream. Inside the warehouse, he triggered one mine, was thrown by the blast onto another, and killed. All too aware of the danger lying beneath the ground, Elvis's father had collected 70 mines around the refugees' new home. But even that wasn't enough to protect his son. Danger still lies in wait for his other children. Although his life is by no means easy, in comparison, Tihomir has been fortunate. His friends have stuck by him, and his injuries have made them more aware of the danger of mines.
Mislimo da je to opasno, da ne treba da se ne igramo više oko toga i da...
S početka smo se igrali
i čim jedan od nas nismo mislili da će tako se dogoditi, to se dogodilo i sad se ne igramo više.
Nisam to mogao samo ja biti, to je mogao on.
Nije mogao, to je mogao biti... Mnogo djece je isto nastradalo, ostalo je bez ruka i noga.
Home life is also a battle zone for Tihomir. His unemployed father is his main carer. His parents live together for financial reasons, but since they are in fact divorced, his father tries to be both mother and father to his son.
I hranim ga, i oblačim i kupam. Kao vidite, svu sam brigu preuzeo na sebe da ga izdržavam. Znate, ja i ne radim, ali eto snalazim se nekako da ga održim. Da mu vratim sreću djetinjstvo, pokušam da budem majka i otac, ali ne mogu to, vjerovatno oba dva pokušam da budem otac, brižni otac.
In an effort to limit the human cost, the ICRC has launched a mine awareness program in Bosnia's schools and those communities at high risk. Children are taught about the mine threat, how to identify them, and what to do if they find one. They draw maps of mines in their areas. Being aware of the dangers can help save their lives and limbs. They don't have much choice. These pictures from the campaign's nationwide drawing competition tell the story. The ICRC says 20% of mine victims in Bosnia are children, whilst men doing agricultural work in the cities and countryside form the majority of post-war mine victims. 40% of victims suffer amputations and 20% die from their injuries. The Mine Awareness Programme is active in the worst mine-contaminated areas. Data about mine incidents is collected and the most vulnerable people taught how to live safely with the ever-present threat. Up in the northern city of Bijeljina, the ICRC Mine Awareness Officer is arriving on a data-gathering trip to check on the latest victim information and how effectively the programme's been targeted.
The main thing is, of course, to try to decrease the number of accidents and to make the people more aware, but also to make them more aware in order to enable them to deal themselves with the mine problem and to initiate activities in their communities.
This area was right on the front line. Whilst people are now returning to rebuild their lives, mines are scattered in the fields and along paths they use every day. Dragan Djokic is one of 94 Red Cross community-based mine awareness instructors. He's lived here since he was a boy, and he's also a mine victim. He coaxes people from their work to explain the mine threat. This is what he has to deal with: preventing locals from doing their own demining and becoming potential mine fatalities. Demining is the only lasting solution to Bosnia's mine problem, but it's sporadic and painstakingly slow. It takes 200 deminers a year to clear 10 square kilometres, and, according to the United Nations, there are between 2 and 3 million mines still buried in the country. The United Nations Mine Action Centre in Sarajevo gathers together all the information on mines in Bosnia from various sources. They produce maps which show the enormity of the problem.
It's a major crisis because landmines tend to stop all activities in the countries. So the issue of landmines will become, and has become, a crisis which, if it's not addressed, will continue to paralyze this country for many years to come.
This paralysis affects everyday life. Houses in frontline areas are often mined, preventing refugees or owners taking up residence. The minefields of the former confrontation lines are now the brutal fields and playgrounds of innocent civilians. Mine awareness programs can reduce the risk, but it will take years for Bosnia's mines to be cleared. In the meantime, frontline boys like Tihomir will continue to be killed or maimed for life, the brutal legacy of a bitter war.